Welcome to the Virtual Antics Podcast, where we help entrepreneurs streamline their business to six figures and beyond. These short, sweet, and info-packed episodes will inspire, educate, and leave you feeling motivated to take one more step forward in your business. So put down your never-ending to-do list, because in this podcast, we are interviewing the best of the best in the entrepreneurial world as they spill their secrets to success. This podcast is sponsored by Nodora, the all-in-one software for entrepreneurs to grow their business with unlimited landing pages, automations, emails and text campaigns, and so much more. I'm your host, Natalie Guzman. Now let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to Virtual Antics Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Natalie Guzman, and I'm so excited because today I have Richard Walsh on the call. He is the CEO of Sharpen the Spear Coaching. Richard is a 30-year seasoned entrepreneur, best-selling author of Escape the Owner Prison, The Contractor's New Way to Scale, Regain Control, and Fast-Track Growth While Loving Life. Welcome, Richard. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Dan. I'm doing awesome. I appreciate you having me on. This is great.
I'm so excited, especially you're a fellow podcaster as well. I didn't mention that in the intro. So I always love having fellow podcasters and entrepreneurs on the call because one, it usually means you're pretty extroverted like myself, and it always makes for a great conversation.
Yeah, I think I'm extroverted on cue only.
Yeah.
I think I'm really an introvert.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a switch, which is good. So I can go both ways.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do? You have a huge 30 years as an entrepreneur. That is absolutely amazing. I think I'm going on year 10, so that's super exciting. But tell me about what you do and kind of how you got there.
Yeah. So I was in the Marine Corps. I got out in 87. We're going back a bit. Got out, started working because you have to make money. So I got a job and I'm working, and I was literally swinging a pickaxe, digging trench all day, for $5 an hour. And that was very exciting. And I kind of didn't really see a future there. So I'm looking for things to do. So I get side work, right? Only thing I had was work ethic and muscle, and I can work hard. What can I do? And someone, this was in Arizona, and someone needed me to, hey, can you do this job for me? I got this granite I need to have in the backyard. Spread, because that's what they do instead of grass and all that. You spread granite. So they'll dump it on the street. And if you can just bring it all back and spread it, I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So he told me how much it was, and it was going to be $1,000. They pay for the materials. I do that. Now it was 35 tons of granite. I had to shovel in 100 degrees, one wheelbarrow at a time, go around. I did it, knocked out a day, but I made $1,000, Natalie.
Yeah. For
the same thing I was doing to make $5 an hour. Kind of a light bulb.
Yeah.
And they said, I think I'll work for myself. I could do 2 of these a month and still be making more money. So that was kind of the birth of entrepreneurship for me. Plus, after 4 years of taking direction from everybody, I kind of was not into taking direction from people anymore. So I'd like to tell people, I'm the best employee you could ever want.
Yeah.
I show early. I do everything without being told. I do above and beyond. I'll stay late. But at the 12-month mark, I need to run your company because I'm just going to do it better. Okay, so I become a very bad employee, so got to move on. So that grew into I created a water feature business, a custom water feature business, waterfalls, ponds, streams, things like that. Cool. Incorporated steel sculpture into that. Ended up becoming an internationally recognized steel sculptor. Did these world-class projects, and I became one of the finest water feature builders in the country and doing stuff, and it was awesome. That was great, right? So I did that for almost 20 years, and then 08-09 came. And there's kind of a financial collapse. Now, I don't blame the collapse itself, but it crushed my business. Everything evaporated basically overnight. It started with this one day, and it was November 5th of 2008. I lost $500,000. Wow. And it just kept going off the cliff. Okay. Yeah. Until it was over. So that was kind of a big deal. And so for me, what happened was, and I lost everything. House, I had 6 small children, 6 kids under 4. Oh, wow. At the time married, right? So we lost, the business had to be shut down. I lost my house. We had to relocate, do all that stuff. And that was a little traumatic, on the whole family. But the big thing was I learned that, okay, let's figure out what I did wrong first. How could I not weather even, as bad as that collapse was, it's I shouldn't have had to have closed, right? I shouldn't have to shut down. So I really connected all the dots, and there's a lot of them. And I figured that out, put it all back together, started the new business, grew to scale that. Now, a big thing, what I did was I didn't want to be owned by my business, right? I wanted it to serve me, not me serving it. So That was a big part of my drive. And I did that because I had 6 small kids. We're homeschooling them. I want to raise them. I want to do the whole thing. So, and we did it. Took them all the way through high school now. The last 3 are graduating. So it's really great. But that's kind of the backstory.
That's awesome. And so now you're coaching, correct?
Yeah, so I got so good at like fixing my business and helping other people asking me. I'm like, asking coaching was birthed about 10 years ago. So now it's Sharpen the Spear Coaching. Yeah, it's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've noticed like, I feel like businesses, they kind of all have their time and place, but the entrepreneurs, we're always thinking of ideas, right? So it's kind of really easy to come up with a new business idea or a new direction. But it's just making sure. I love that you said that you took the time, you evaluated what you did wrong to, make sure that didn't happen again. And that's one of the things I think sometimes entrepreneurs forget is like, okay, figure out what you did wrong. So if you do want to open a new business or you want to take your business in a new direction, figure out how you can avoid those mistakes. So that's super, super insightful. I love that. So what type of people do you coach? Is it like service-based, product-based, a certain industry?
I would say if you want to put in the niche, it's the service and trades industry.
Yeah.
So I have construction guys, I have your plumbers, your HVAC guys, all those are like my super niche. Now I work with manufacturers and I work with real estate people and all that too. But who I'm really, I just kill it with that service and trades base because I know the industry so well and I know every single thing they run into. Because here's how it works, Natalie. Everyone gets in business, right? And we all know we have to work really hard when you start. And I have not figured out a way not to do that. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to work really hard. You're going to wear a lot of hats and you're going to first 2 years, but I will tell you the easiest thing to do is make money. So you'll make money, you'll get going. It's everything else that's difficult. But all of a sudden that first 2 years, you're at that 10-year mark. And then you realize I've just repeated the first 2 years 5 times. Okay. Yeah. So that's where they're trapped. That's escape the owner prison, right? They're trapped in the owner prison. So we come in and break that and fix that and bring the freedom and the profit and the impact back into their business. So that's what I had to do. Like, I can't do that. If I have to open the door every day, something's not right.
Yeah. Do you notice that I see a lot of times entrepreneurs, I work with entrepreneurs in hundreds of industries, right? We actually have a lot in like the trade service and tree industry and electricians and things like that. And then we have coaches and even like veterinarians or like homeschooling moms that are teaching other moms how to homeschool, which is super cool. So it's like all across the board, right? But the one thing that I notice they struggle with is like delegation and like being the CEO. They're like trying to be the admin assistant, the sales, the marketing, and they're trying to keep it all to themselves. But I think a business is really more of like an organic thing. And I got lucky because my business was a virtual assistant agency, was not my first business, but my first lasting business, which is super cool. And so I kind of got lucky with that because I learned really quickly how to delegate, how to make sure that I'm not doing everything. Do you notice that a lot of your clients are trying to do it all?
Oh, absolutely. It's the 9 hats. So I've just 3 words for them, for all the entrepreneurs out there listening. You have 3 words: automate, delegate, eliminate. Yeah. Okay. Automate whatever you can, right? We know what that means. Systems, processes, get all that stuff. Delegate the right people to do it. And don't just delegate, give them authority to perform that task, right? Put them in charge, have them do that. And then elimination, of course, redundancies, inefficiencies. And the most important thing to eliminate is you. Yeah. Okay. So you really need to eliminate you from all this day-to-day stuff so you can focus on what we call the 5%. 5% of the business only you can do: the vision, the growth, obtaining new market shares, perhaps buying other struggling businesses who didn't do it right. And you can go purchase it for pennies on the dollar. You come in, systemize it, automate, delegate, eliminate. Bam! Now you got a whole nother expansion of your business. I love that.
Yeah. And, I've been thinking a lot about that, like buying other businesses and things like that. And I've talked with a lot of my clients about it. And I've noticed that, it's kind of like a scary thought if you've never done it before. So do you have any like words of wisdom for those people that are maybe thinking about doing that for the first time?
Buy another business?
Yes.
Yeah. So here's what I want you to do. I'll tell you exactly what you're going to do. You're going to practice. Okay. So you're going to go find a business broker, whatever it is, you can find a business for sale, and you're going to go check it out. And you're going to look at books. You can see their operation because you're going to learn a ton. You don't have to buy. No one's going to make you buy it, but you're going to see, is it worth what they're asking? Is it worth 10 cents on the dollar? Is it worth it? Do they have automation? Because here's the goal. If I'm going to sell my business, so I'll tell this for your entrepreneurs who actually want to grow their business, scale it and build it. And we're all probably going to sell at one point, or hand it down, but that never really works. You're going to probably sell it. Okay. Don't think your kids want to do what you do, except yours who wants to be in the podcast.
Yeah.
But so what you want to do is you want to build it to sell. So what I want is someone to come in and say, hey man, I love your business. And they give me what I want. I want X amount, right? Okay. They hand me a check. We shake hands. I go out the door. They come in, but nobody else knows the business sold because it's run so well. It's not dependent on me, right? That's what someone's really looking for if they're going to expand and buy a business. They don't want to come reinvent what you do. No. Okay. So when you go to these other businesses, look at them for purchase, look for that. Is that what you're buying? Are you going to buy a done, finished, runs itself? Or are you coming in hot mess, a couple of used trucks, a couple of this, a bunch of depreciating assets, and you're going to say, well, I'll give you 30,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the reality for most businesses because they haven't had any future thought, any exit strategy, designs and programs to go to. So that's what I would do. Practice it. Go tell what you're looking at. Because don't just go buy something because you're going to get burnt.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I kind of think of it like an open house, right? We go and when we're trying to buy a house, we look at it, we evaluate it, we see, its faults. Are there any crack in the walls, especially if you live in a hurricane state like I do, all these little things that we look at to evaluate. I love the idea of like comparing that to looking at your business. Because that is such a good, thought that you just put in our heads was like, if it's not running on its own, there's going to be so much more work, so much time that you have to put in, probably money. You're going to have to maybe hire the right people or reinvent the systems. Does the business have SOPs was my first question when you were saying that. If it doesn't have a standard operating procedure, it's like, I feel like that would be the biggest red flag.
Yeah. It's just a hot mess. You're buying a mailing. You're buying a mailing list. That's some past customers. That's what you're going to get, and a bunch of broke down used equipment or whatever it is. And or maybe the incredible office manager that's actually holding the whole business together walks out the day after you pay for it.
Yeah.
Now you have nothing. Okay, all you have is an empty office. That's basically all you have. So it's a lot of stories like that out there. But but again, if you like when we coach our clients. And now they know, and we don't make them, we won't get into the whole process, but they know how to systemize, right? And they run their business that way. They can go, and it's smart to go find those people who aren't doing that because you are getting the list. You are getting a business and they've been there for 10 years, right? Yeah. You have a name, you have a presence, and you can pick that and you can come in and you can systemize that thing. I have a client doing it now. He picked up a business for a song and he's already doubled the profits, systemized the whole thing in 6 months. They'll be, 100% profitable next year. It's unbelievable because he knows how to do it now.
Yeah.
And that's going to become multiples. There's so much opportunity, but you got to focus on your thing first. Get your thing dialed in, running, self-sufficient, doesn't really need you, working that 5%, then start looking.
Yeah.
Now, in the interim, again, if you want to practice, go practice. Once a year, go try to buy a business. Go look at stuff. As you're building and perfecting yours, just kind of get in the groove of what this actually looks like. It's really helpful.
I love that. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep that in mind. That is awesome. Now, what are some things that you see the entrepreneurs that are, you said wearing the 9 hats, right? So what are some things that biggest mistakes maybe that you see them doing?
The biggest one, and again, my niche is kind of the service and trades industry, is they won't put the hammer down. They won't put the drill down. They won't put the saw down. They won't put the tape measure down. They just they're great at what they do. And that's why they started the business, because they were doing it better than the guy they work for.
Yeah.
Okay. But they can't let go of that. They have a death grip on it. And they think that, well, no one's going to do it as good as I do. My customers expect listen, I'm going to clue you in here. Okay. Most of the people can probably do it at 97%, at least as good as you can. Yeah. And I guarantee you, your clients don't know the difference. You are putting yourself on I'll call it an ego pedestal. Just put the ego in the box, put that away, let your guys work, and then work on their competency. How about you train them to be as good as you are? Work on that, do that so they can get out and get it done, because that's why they can't scale. They have to be there. They're running and picking up materials. They're going to do this. They truly don't understand delegation. they're afraid. And someone usually says, I don't have the money, but then they haven't planned their business correctly, Natalie. If they're planning, they go, okay, when I reach this point, I got to put on this person. Now, when I reach this point, I'm going to need these two people. I'm going to need this, right? So if they know the steps, they can kind of take a breath. Yeah, you're going to do a lot of the work in the beginning, but then you have to have that exit plan of, okay, who's taking my place now? Because you are a really high paid carpenter. You're doing the work, because I'll do this a lot in the seminars I do. I'll ask all the owners, well, what's your hourly worth? What are you worth as an owner? And you'll hear $100 an hour, $150 an hour. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's all you're worth? I mean, really, like if you had to replace you for all the things that you do right now, would if someone came to you with all that to do and you're just this person, would you accept it for only $150 an hour? They're like, I guess so. I know you're worth like $1,500 an hour.
Yeah.
But why are you cleaning the toilets?
Yeah.
Okay. Who would you pay? Like, understand, like what we all devalue ourselves. None of us, you, me, everyone does not have the right value assessment for ourselves. You have to get that from someone else, but you have to understand, like, this is why you delegate. This is why you automate. Because, man, you are the driver. You're the visionary. You're what keeps all this together. But at the same time, you can't be doing everything every day. So that's the biggest thing I run into.
And I'm going to call out my ladies on this, because that's the biggest thing that we like to do is we, as moms, wives, business owners, we take everything on ourselves, and we really don't have to. So that's just something I would keep in mind in your day-to-day practices, just making sure that you're doing the things that are worth the $1,500 an hour and not the stuff that, and someone else on your team can do. And I know it's really scary. Like, I actually went with a house cleaner. I traveled to her. I went from Florida to Texas she was having so much trouble writing standard operating procedures and training her staff. And she was just having so much issues, basically cloning herself. Right. And I think what I saw, her biggest mistake was she was expecting someone to do it exactly how she did, to the very T, even like not putting certain toys away until the very end and leaving them right outside, like things that were just so minuscule in the big picture, but she wanted someone to do it exactly like that. And so she was not able to hire anyone and replace her. And because she kind of held on to that so tightly. So I would say, it doesn't always have to be 100% exactly how you do it, or 100% perfect. Sometimes it's, is it getting the job done? Does it really worth that much for you to keep on doing? And I don't think it is, especially if you're being an entrepreneur. You didn't get into this job for it to be a job. You got it to have that freedom, for whether it was time or control or whatever it was. So that's awesome. Well, I loved having you on the call today, Richard. Can you tell us where we can find you and more about your services?
You get simple, sharpenthespearcoaching.com.
So simple.
Great website. Go on there. You can shoot me a message. My Escape the Owner Prison book, you can get on Amazon. Especially if you're in the service and trades, that book it'll be a lot of light bulbs going off for you. Give you great direction on how to really get out of that prison. We love coaching people. Sharpenthespearcoaching.com. Go to that. Send me a message. Book a call. We'll take a look at the information. Love to talk to you.
Awesome. And we'll talk to you guys next time on the Virtual Antics Podcast.